everybody, this is Yael from Yael Alchemy, and I'm here with the weekly Twin Flame reading for the week of March 26th to April 2. And I missed you all last week, and no, I didn't fall off the face of the planet. What happened was I was tagged to do complex work at the office. I'm kind of the go-to girl for that, for the complex problems, or when something other people can't do it, then that's when it goes to me. And so I had backlog with my mission work, and I apologize for the delay for all those who've asked for readings and healings, but I'm caught up now. Okay, so that's why I wasn't able to give a weekly reading last week. Because you see, when those things happen, of course, I'm going to have to prioritize those that have sought out my services and guidance and assistance. So anyway, and for those who've expressed their concern through emails, asking me what's going on, if I was sick again, if the energies were getting to me, thank you so much. I wasn't able to reply because I was just catching up until we got to this point. Plus there was the Equinox transmission. So how are all these new Equinox energies sitting with you? That was beautiful. That was a beautiful transmission. I could feel during the ceremony, and it was a very beautiful ceremony that I took part of. And when the light codes were pouring down, my heart, which was like a golden lotus flower, that's how it appeared, was just expanding, and I could feel it fill up my chest as the light codes were coming down. And we're going to go through this the next few weeks. And if you were wondering why you felt bloated prior to the 20th, the Equinox transmission, the activation, well, that's because if you're twins, what you do is you anchor all that energy in your body and filter it out so that you can dispense it to the rest of the planet, because that's why you're very high vibrational, and you have the capacity as twin flames to filter that energy before it gets disseminated to everyone else in 3D. So after the equinox, I'm like, wow, it felt like you gave birth, because the energy's anchored, it was ripe, and now you're just spreading it out to others. And this is going to continue, okay? And during this period, because it's a change in energies, some of you will feel very volatile. And it's a good thing that I have my crystals with me also. I'm sorry for the shadows. This looks like a horror movie. Anyway, here. This is Satyaloka. It's one of the 12 master crystals. Very nice. I have my new crystals here. This Tibetan Tektite. Okay. Moldavite. Here. 2 pieces of Moldavite. Beautiful. Beautiful stones. Very high energy. And of course, to connect with my dragons, I have my Mexican fire agate. But it's especially for them. So I could connect with them more. Also the serpentine. Okay, so know your crystals because it helps. Especially if you're comfortable with the crystal matrix that you have in your Merkaba already, because we've been upgraded. Anyway, let's get on with the reading. Okay, at the bottom of the deck, see here, we have the Nine of Staffs. And here, again, this is the wolf that is being sacrificed in the fire. So this is the old. This could be the ego burning. This is the step before the phoenix rises. And here we have the Five of Wands, indicating this is really indicative of the, you would say, weird or strange or very intense energies that are coming out right now, because it's the beginning of our solar year, and there is a tendency to burn out while this is stewing. See, from the sun, it's at that time of year, but this is necessary to get to a better place. See the Six of Swords there, and in this journey towards I wouldn't say surviving this period, but getting through this period, here it is imperative that we make the right choices. There is the refined choice connected to our higher self, and there's the raw choice signifying base desires. So this is needed, strength. Strength that is powered by love. The moon and the sun there, the lion. So anyway, those are the general energies surrounding this reading. And let's go now to the Divine Masculine. First card we have for the Divine Masculine is the Seven of Swords. And here we have a wolf or a fox, I think he's a fox, carrying a sword in his mouth. There are 6 swords. The pointy end is, some of them are in the ground, the others are laying horizontally on the ground. They're not embedded in the ground. And it seems like this is a card of confusion. This represents the thoughts of the Divine Masculine. Some of his negativity has been absorbed by the ground, has been grounded already. However, he still carries this sword, and you look at the fox, it's very ambivalent, the direction he's going in. It's like his steps are tentative. He's confused about where to take this sword. So there's a general confusion there, but regarding what, we're gonna pick clarifying cards later on. And here we have another 7, and this is the 7 of Vessels. These are actually vessels that are used in various processes, procedures in alchemy. There's a vessel for distillation, for funneling, for whatchamacallit, there are various vessels, okay, for distillation, fermentation, for all the procedures in alchemy. And yet there is this golden chalice here that has a diamond with an eye, and that represents, because these are the tools, the vessels that are available to you. And depending on what you want to do, you have to pick the right vessel. But what this card tells us is that regardless of the existence of the other vessels that are within reach, you pick the vessel that serves the purpose of what you want to do, so that it fulfills that purpose. And the vessel that fulfills your highest purpose would be this golden chalice. Okay, so that would be listening to your higher self, because your higher self never advises you for what is the lesser good. That is your highest self, and that is the vessel that you pick in your own personal transformation, transmutation towards ascension. Okay? But that saying, look at the divine masculine, kind of confused, doesn't know what vessel to pick. And the third card we have for the divine masculine is the Knight of Swords. Again, it's a sword card. And here, this Knight of Swords, he's a hero, okay? He's very quick to take action. Sometimes this indicates a bit of being quick to judge, being judgmental. But here, our hero, he slays the beast. And he does this with force. And here, we will see later on what this represents, okay, with the clarifying cards. But this is quick action, rapid movement, reaction to a situation, very reactionary. Because when you're on the field, you have to think on your feet. But we don't know what this pertains to. If this is his shadow self, which it could be, the divine masculine shadow self, because he's come from confusion. And if he's able to pick this chalice, which will best serve his purpose in this incarnation, because he is a twin, okay, a twin flame, then this could very well relate to his baser nature and his ego. Okay, and the last card we have for the divine masculines, they're doing a lot of thinking this week, and it's not necessarily positive thoughts, because here we have the Nine of Swords. This man is trying to go across the room. He's carrying one sword, and there are dangling swords, 8 dangling swords from the ceiling, and he's trying to fight them off. But again, that may be counterproductive, because it's better for him to pass without actually touching these swords or moving them. We don't know how stable they're tied up from the ceiling, and they could fall down at any time. So these represent the divine masculine's fears, and that he's currently struggling with them. It's fear to move, fear that he may choose the wrong sword. It's fear that if he doesn't do anything, then this might come not tumbling down, but you know, it might pin him down and what's the word? It escapes me. Not stabs, but there's a more precise word for it. Anyway, so this fear, the energy of this card is sort of panicky. So some of the divine masculines, because this is the period, this equinox, okay? This is very important from the 20th up until the 1st of May, which is Beltane, okay? We don't get that in our country because we only have 2 seasons really, but let's go with that. That period is very important for the divine feminines to stabilize. If you're wobbly, that's why these are the cards of the divine masculine. How can you ever hope for the divine masculine to awaken if the divine feminine is wobbly? We'll see. We haven't opened this yet. But so far, that's the vibe I'm getting. Because it's like you feed off each other. If the divine feminine is wobbly and is not stabilized in 5D, how can the divine masculine ever have a chance of going through this birthing process? That is why it's so important, so imperative, because this is a very crucial wave up until the 1st of May to help our divine masculine awaken and recognize who their divine counterparts are. And I'm going to speak more on that later on, okay? But so far, here, this is being gripped in fear and panic. Very panicky energy. And let's pick clarifying cards for the divine masculine. Okay. Okay. This is fatalité, which means something has come to an end and he doesn't know where to go. That's why he's confused. He doesn't know what direction to take because something has come to an end. Okay, for the 7 of Vessels, this is dual. So this is dual. It represents debate. He doesn't know, still confused. Which is the proper vessel for what he wants to rebuild himself as? It's like he's got all these ingredients, he doesn't know what to pick to make the perfect dish, even if the answer is staring at him right in the face. Okay? And these are things that are happening in his head. It's a very mental process for the divine masculines, which is why it's no wonder that they're not really acting right now, because as with the other readings we've had in the previous weeks, the masculine has got to get it together in his head so that he can move forward. And with the energies right now, depending on what is going to appear with the divine feminine, but from what I've been seeing in the groups, a lot of it is wobbly, very it's, how do you say it, it's very up and down, up and down. And this energy, because it is right before, wait, I'll speak about that later on. Let's finish this. Okay, for the Knight of Swords, support. So this is saying the divine masculine, when he's trying to fight off his baser nature, his ego, he needs the support. Okay, and for the 9 of Swords, okay, this is Castle, which is saying that if he's not stable, the reason that he's going through this is because he needs stability. Castle, strong. It's fortified. And he needs that so that he can perceive this properly and pick the right strategy through it. It's like you're going to a, you know, the show Wipeout. So, and you're trying to figure out a way how you get to do those cutout holes. You have to think it through first, because when it's there, if you panic, you're never going to get through the hole without falling to the pool or something like that. So, but in a state of panic, you basically pick the choice, the first one that comes to mind, which is not what this card is saying, because here you do have to make a choice in order to move forward. So here, see, so the divine masculine needs stability and support so that he can get through this. And the card, the advice card for the divine masculines, is union. If he, especially his higher self, there's no problem with that, okay? But the union, this union in 5D, if it's stable, if you are intertwined with your twin, this is going to help the divine masculine. Okay? Here we have two dragons in the shape of a heart, and this woman with all her chakras lit up. So again, if you haven't considered the RASHEEBA healings, this is exactly what it does. And on a side note there, it's amazing. I have this client from South Africa, and my dragons loved it there, because as opposed to when they go to cities, they wanted to linger there, and I could see it within my mind's eye while they were doing that. And the amazing thing is, when I reported back to my client how the session went and that her session was over, she sent me a picture of the view during her hike. And it was actually what I was seeing in my head. I actually don't know if I can't remember if I replied to that, but that was amazing because I could see it. My dragons were loving it. So anyway, that's exactly what RASHEEBA does. So if you want to give support to your twin to help him stabilize and get through this panicky stage, then please do consider the RASHEEBA healing for your twin and of course for yourself. Okay, let's go now to the Divine Feminine. The first card we have is the King of Swords, and the King of Swords is represented by this eagle here. We've had this card several times, so I kind of know what it means. But for those who are just listening to my reading for the first time, this eagle, he represents, because the eagle, he's the king of the air. He's the king, he's the, he's very powerful. In fact, in mythology, the gods and the goddesses, they were often accompanied by eagles, symbolizing that power, that broader perspective, because they are the eagles, they're far-sighted. They can see a lot. That's why from a great distance, they can hone in on their prey and just swoop in on them. And here, this eagle carries a sword, and the sword is a sword of truth. So, seeing the bigger perspective, the divine feminines are cognizant of the situation. Next card we have is the Two of Swords. Again, swords. Lots of things going on. See here? See this clarifier for his confusion? We have the Two of Swords there. Okay, signifying an internal debate. And that is exactly what this card means. There's an internal debate going on, these cross swords, going on with the divine feminines. And the presence of this owl here signifies the need for wisdom in threshing out these ideas. They can oppose each other, or they may be a violent clash of ideas. And that is why in every debate, usually, I'm not just talking about the formal format of debates, okay? The ones who are in universities send debaters to go up against each other. But this is even your basic argument with somebody, because it can be a constructive exchange of ideas, in which case the motive for that, for the exchange, would be to get to the truth of the matter. It's like the Socratic method. You ask questions, you test the argument of the other side, you see if it's feasible, you look at it from all angles, but the object of that is to get to the truth of the matter. But when this clash of swords turns violent, then that becomes a fight for dominance, for control, because that's a show of aggression. That's why wisdom is needed whenever there's a clash of ideas. And whether that's happening internally to the divine feminines or in the peripherally, whether it pertains to dynamics inside a group, clashes of belief systems, schools of thought, then that's what's going on. Next card we have for the Divine Feminine. Okay, so looks like this has turned violent. Here we have 7 again. We have so many 7s. This is 7, 7, 7. Okay, this is the third 7. Here we have 2 dogs fighting with each other. This violent combat for dominance. And there's a 7 of staffs there. And this is, I really don't know why this energy is coming up. It's like a crazy time for both the divine masculines. He's panicked and she's gone amok, because this is the don't mess with me, I am going to tear your head off kind of energy. She's just rearing. And that's why here in the process, because things have to burn, old things. But you can see here, the thing is, the trick is not to burn out. And because this is not coasting with the energy, but this is panic. This is the all or nothing. You know, I don't know if you watch Caesar Milan, but when the dogs, if you're into dog training, there are dogs that go into the red zone, okay? And that's what he calls dogs that cannot be rehabilitated anymore because they're past that red zone. They're out to kill, okay? When they're supposed to be domesticated pets, animals, right? This is that energy, that red zone energy. And this has to do with knowing the truth. It's like what Spirit's telling me right now is that there are some feminines that are in this energy of, oh my God, don't tell me I've gone through all this journey, everything else, I've followed it, and that it's not going to amount to anything. It's that I am going to, strangle you, whatever. That energy. It's that energy. Okay? We'll check for clarifying cards later on. And see here, when this energy is expended, then remember, this is the beginning of our solar year. We've had the Lunar New Year during Chinese New Year, early January, I think. Yes, but this is the beginning of the solar year. And that's why we have the Fool. And the Fool is the first card of the major trumps and the tarot. He's blindfolded, and all he has is this hair to guide him, and that star, the platonic star. The feathers in his head, they represent his foolishness, which means that in his journey, he is going to make mistakes, okay? But the only way that he can come to wisdom, which would be the universe, okay? The last card in the majors, the universe, I think, yeah, or the world, is to make those mistakes. There's no other way through it, because that's how you mature. And even this journey, there are some who will make mistakes. And yes, like, take me for example. I keep going to readers who can't read me because I vibrate at a higher level than them. Sometimes there are recommendations and I go, okay, because sometimes I'd like a reading other than what I read for a different perspective. But then when they something, and this is what happened to me last week, okay, they say something that's totally off with what my inner knowing, and that sort of dislodges me from stability, and that causes that wobble. Because that's why, that's just another tip, okay? If you have somebody read you, you have to go to somebody that vibrates higher than you. Otherwise, they can't read you. They can probably help other people who vibrate at a lower frequency than you, but like that reader, the one who said that my twin didn't know how to get to me, you know what? A week later, I see her post something that she's giving up on the twin flame journey and all that and all. So you get what I'm saying. This is like a paid forward thing, or the ripple effect. She's feeling that way, her vibrations are unstable, she passes it on. Okay? And I think that's why Spirit got me busy during that week to anchor it. So, because I needed that space to stabilize so I can be a clear channel, stabilize in 5D for everyone else that I'm trying to help, so that the guidance is clear. And so let's look. Oh, clarifying cards for this one. Okay, for the Divine Feminine. So it's very important during this period for you to stabilize in 5D. Okay, I'm going to speak more about that later on. And when these triggers come up, things that don't resonate with you, that, drive you into a panic, look at this. It's the same energy. You're feeding off each other. Okay? Because there's this debate. Even if, they see the higher perspective, here, this sort of, these are little, how do you say it? When somebody pokes you in the side and you get bothered, you get out of your zone, even if, because this card indicates that the Divine Feminines were in their zone. But then this came along. But this energy has the possibility of turning two ways. And this is saying that for some in the collective, the Divine Feminines turned this way, the warpath, instead of the constructive conversation, discussion, debate. But that is necessary. Some of us will make mistakes on this journey, and that's needed to go into maturity. Anyway, for the King of Swords. Okay, see here? This is love. So, the Divine Feminine, she sees the bigger picture. There's no question about that. Okay. And here, see? This is union. Can you see that? And that's what she was having doubts about. Is it ever going to happen? Is it going to happen to me? Are we ever going to come together? Those are the doubts. And those doubts, they've escalated into this energy. Okay. And this is the key. That this energy, it's like, let it self-destruct. Go through it. Yes, you're going to make mistakes. That's why there's the Fool here. That's going to be part of it. If you're already there, just go through it. And that's the key. That's the key also to stabilize the Divine Masculine. This is violent, aggressive. This is panicky. You're both mirroring each other. That's why it's very important, because the Divine Feminines, you remember my reading that says follow your lead, okay? The Divine Masculines following the lead of the Divine Feminines. But if the Divine Feminine herself is wobbly, if she's not stable in 5D and her doubts escalate to this level, how in the high heavens will the Divine Masculine be able to awaken and stabilize, especially during this very critical period till May 1? Okay? So, and the Fool, this honor. And what this is saying, what Spirit is saying, is that be kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up for the mistakes that you've made. You're going to make them. It's all part of the process of spiritually maturing. Whether that's fraternizing, socializing with another twin flame who later on hadn't shed much of his or her ego and was getting your vibrations down. You have to know when to cut the cords with certain people that no longer resonate with you and bring your vibration down. Okay? We're all here to teach each other, to assist each other, but it is also your responsibility to recognize when somebody can no longer teach you. Perhaps because you have advanced further than they have. Perhaps you've been doing your homework extremely well. So, there, recognize. Don't beat yourself up too much for those mistakes that you are going to make along the way in this journey. And the card here, the advice. See here, we have perception. And here, the advice which is also related to this card, because this card is sort of like the eye of Sauron, you know, the all-seeing eye. You see from a bigger perspective. And this is saying that your perception of 3D, because that's what Spirit is telling me right now, okay? Even if you see that it's black and it looks bleak because it's black, the thing is, remember that black carries all the colors, okay? So, what you see may be just black, but when you look closer, even at black light, it, it gets into a prism with the colors of the rainbow. And that's what you have to focus your perception on. If things in 3D look bleak, they should not they should not be the cause for you to get toppled over when it comes to your stability in 5D. That's why it's very important for the Divine Feminines to stabilize in 5D. And how do you do that? What if you hear something, you see something on social media about your twin, about his karmic partner, her husband, for the Divine Masculines who are waiting for their beloved counterparts? The thing is here, remember, it's all perception. That is 3D that you're perceiving. You have to focus on 5D. How do you do that? You focus on the now moment. Just focus on the now. What you're doing at the present time. Because here, if you're fearing the future, whether there's going to be union, you're going to get into this panic. And that again is fearing the future. But if you focus on the now, whether you're reading a book, whether you're watching TV, and the thing is there, two things, focus on the now moment, what you're doing. Be present in the present, okay? And trust that you're going to be led to this union, okay? That's one thing, focusing on the now. And number two, just be filled with gratitude, because when you keep thanking the universe keeps giving you more back. So whatever you have now, be thankful, be grateful for it, because that is the energy that's needed to tell the universe, hey, I'm ready for more, I'm so grateful for this. Okay, so anyway, let's pick a card to connect these energies. Okay, see here, this is the Hanged Man. This is a pause, okay? And this pause, you know what needs to be paused? This energy and this energy. That has got to stop. Meditate. Stabilize yourself in 5D, especially for the Divine Feminines. You're leading the Divine Masculines to their awakening, to their recognition of their beloved counterpart in this incarnation. They won't get to that recognition if this escalates further. That's why, see, that's the key. See here? This is the key. So this energy, especially in the coming week, it's got to stop, because that's not helping. Okay? So, okay, very important, Divine Feminines and Divine Masculines. throughout this period until the 1st, this wave of energies is very important again to stabilize in 5D. Now, if you don't know how to do that, there's the Fast Track to Twin Flame Union package. Okay, look for it. It's on my website. That's going to help you. Do it every day. Because there are more activations coming in, but this is sort of like the level up from the basic one. Okay, you have to go through that first, because that's going to help you stabilize. If you're not thinking about all these doom and gloom scenarios that are driving you batty and driving you crazy, then there, go into meditation, do something constructive. Don't seek out communication with your twin. Things have to pause first. This is the calm. Calm is needed for birthing. Okay, so there. And again, for those who want to help their divine counterparts, this card appeared again, so that's a sign. Okay, so for those who want to help their divine counterparts and themselves activate their divine light and, clear up all those chakras, get the new energy going to manifest whatever you want to manifest in this lifetime. It's a creation year. Okay, then please do consider the RASHEEBA sessions. And for those asking about it, if you've already gotten a RASHEEBA session, if you can get one again, of course, yes, you can, because it's like maintenance. You clear your chakras. If you want that kind of healing, any kind of healing, periodic would be recommended, because you're continually bringing in energetic junk. Unless you're a hermit and you refuse to interact with everyone else. So there, it's like a tune-up. Okay, so anyway, that's what I have for you, and I hope this helps in the coming week. I'm caught up with my readings and healings, so if you'd like a reading or a personal healing, and for this period, yes, I would recommend RASHEEBA over Reiki. I've gotten a lot of questions about that, because RASHEEBA is fast, it's direct. Okay, Reiki is gentle, it works slowly. So for this session, it's very important for the collective to be ready for that time. It's like we're working on a deadline here. We've downloaded the codes for the Equinox, and we're working towards that. So anyway, I have a clip of RASHEEBA after this. Please watch it. It's short. Okay, I'll see you next week. Bye.